Hello and thank you for joining us right here on Luntha television. It's time for news. Enjoy with me, Jacqueline Saidi. First, the headlines. Pope Leo invites Christians to ponder on the end of life so as to discover the power of Christ's resurrection. Expert warns against political interference as government appoints 66 new boards. Malawi observes International Human Rights Day with cause for reflection and accountability from leaders. And in other news, report shows 111 journalists killed worldwide in 2025, with more than 500 still imprisoned. We have these and more. Stay with us. During his Wednesday general audience, Pope Leo XIV reflected on how human beings perceive death. He encouraged the faithful to contemplate the end of life, a topic often avoided in today's world, to better understand the power of Christ's resurrection and find renewed meaning in their lives. We have a Vatican News report being read by Tandiwe Mzumara.
Pope Leo told the faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square that to know that death exists and above all to reflect on it teaches us to choose what we really want to make of our existence. The Pope's catechesis continued on the theme, the resurrection of Christ and the challenges of contemporary world, as part of the series Jesus Christ Our Hope. The Pope pointed out that the mystery of death has always raised profound questions in human beings, as it is simultaneously the most natural and unnatural event to exist. He emphasized how, compared to the past, where many cultures developed rites linked to the cult of the dead and their journey towards an afterlife, today there seems to be the opposite trend. At the same time, he also mentioned how many current anthropological views promise immanent immortality and theorize the prolongation of earthly life through technology. He noted that unlike other creatures, humans are aware that life is finite, which can lead to existential anxiety and attempts to avoid thinking about death. The Pope emphasized that the resurrection of Christ provides the ultimate answer to these reflections. Through the resurrection, death is revealed not as the end of life, but as a passage to eternal life, offering a glimpse of the fullness that awaits beyond earthly suffering. Christ's victory over death demonstrates the power of divine love and prepares a place of eternal rest, free from shadows and contradictions. In this light, humans can approach death with hope rather than fear, understanding it as a transition towards eternal joy and fulfillment.
Governance and political expert George Chaima has urged the newly reconstituted boards of directors in state-owned enterprises and statutory corporations across key sectors to dedicate themselves to prioritizing serving citizens' interests over advancing their political agendas. On Tuesday, Chief Secretary Dr. Justin Saidi stated that the government expects the appointed 66 boards to deliver sound strategic guidance and provide a robust oversight role with a focus on enhancing the performance of these corporations and improving the delivery of essential public services to Malawi. In an interview with Luntha television, Chaima mentioned that for the past years, the board members have been working under political influence, which also diverts them from serving the intended purpose. We have more in this report, read by Hope Kambeta.
On Tuesday, the government announced the constitution of Board of Directors for 66 state-owned enterprises and statutory corporations across key sectors of national economy. The statement indicated that appointments are effective from December 9, 2025. According to the Chief Secretary to the government, Dr. Justin Saidi, the move aims to enhance the public performance of these corporations and improve the delivery of essential public services to Malawians. In his comment, government and political expert George Chaima urged newly appointed board chairpersons and members to prioritize serving the interests of Malawians over political ideologies, rather than the public interest, and there is a need for change. Chaima described the appointments as timely, calling on those in this position to serve with diligence and perform with their duties in the line of their capabilities, ultimately benefiting Malawians.
The appointment of new board members is not something that is surprising. We know many boards, if not all, were dissolved. So Malawians expected for a refill and a replacement for those vacant positions. So this is done, and that is a good thing, but I think what is most important for these board members is to make sure that they are going there to serve Malawians and demonstrate to Malawians that they are there to promote common prosperity and make a better life for all Malawians, rather than just those who are in positions. These are not political positions, so their allegiance should be to Malawians and not the appointing authority.
The government, through the Office of the Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet, has expressed hope that the Board of Directors will provide sound and strategic guidance and powerful oversight. Among other appointments, there are new boards for major institutions such as Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, the National Food Reserve Agency, NFRA, the Roads Authority, and public universities, as well as the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation's MPC under various ministries.
Policy makers and non-state actors in Malawi have been urged to reflect on their commitments as the country observes International Human Rights Day. Social commentator Luntha Mbewe said Malawi is lagging in protecting and promoting human rights, calling for stronger efforts to ensure citizens fully enjoy their fundamental freedoms. On the other hand, human rights activist Michael Kayata has said the International Human Rights Day should remind the government to protect and respect human rights activists. Emmanuel Chuocha with a report.
Celebrated annually on 10th of the December, International Human Rights Day, among other things, aims to promote and protect human rights for all people, regardless of race, gender, religion, or nationality, as well as raise awareness about violation of human rights worldwide. Social commentator Luntha Mbewe says the day offers an important opportunity for a country like Malawi to evaluate its progress and challenges in upholding human rights. Mbewe highlighted concern surrounding just ended September 16th general election, where several human rights violations were reported prior to the polls. He said such incidents serve as a reminder that Malawi must strengthen mechanisms that safeguard democratic principles.
If we look at our situation as a country, that we are on track in the understanding and the promotion of human rights, I think it still remains a long way to go. We hope with the new leadership and the government, things will tend to be positive for citizenry in the elements of promotion of human rights and the rule of law.
In his view, Human Rights Defenders Coalition chairperson Michael Kayata says the International Human Rights Day should also be a time for the government to ensure that human rights activists are respected and protected. Kayata emphasized that human rights defenders represents the voice and the concerns of ordinary Malawians and therefore deserve recognition, support and safety as they carry out their duties.
The challenge is that, first of all, defending human rights will continue to be a risky business, and as a result, the one that will suffer is the ordinary Malawian, who relies on people like us to have their rights defended and protected. So it's really important that government should take the safety and security of human rights defenders seriously. It's important that young ones should realize and remember all the time that they also have a role to ensure that, first of all, they understand their rights and also their responsibility to defend the rights of others. We are in an environment that is continually changing. We are there, but tomorrow they will need to rise up and also ensure that they are defending the rights of other Malawians.
Despite progress in human rights promotion, Malawi faces challenges such as attacks of journalists, limited enforcement, human rights laws, gender-based violence, and political intolerance.
The Malawi Bureau of Standards, MBS, has disposed of 730 seized weighing scales following widespread cases of non-compliance, tampering, and illegal imports uncovered during nationwide inspections. Speaking at the disposal exercise at MBS offices in Lilongwe, Director of Metrology Services, Dr. Stephen Jalimba, explained that the instruments were confiscated during routine inspections. He noted that many of the scales had either been smuggled into the country without meeting standards or deliberately tampered with by business operators to deceive buyers and suppliers. Dr. Jalimba warned that such practices distort fair trade and have a negative impact on the national economy, underscoring the importance of compliance with established standards. We'll have more in this report, which has been filed by Gift Kalonga.
According to Dr. Jalimba, the Bureau inspects both imported weighing instruments and those sold or used in the local market. He highlighted that MBS is tackling multiple issues, including the importation of non-compliant scales and the deliberate tampering of instruments by business operators to cheat the public or gain unfair trade advantages. Dr. Jalimba noted that after seizure, the Bureau observes the 90-day waiting period mandated by the Meteorology Act before publicly disposing of the instruments. The exercise is conducted in collaboration with the City Assembly and steel recyclers. He added that 40 untampered scales pose risks to the national economy and undermine fairness in trade.
The dangers are if these scales are put into use, they affect the economy of the country. They also affect the public because the sellers are trickling or they are tricking or they are stealing from the public. So we ensure that there is fairness whenever trade is taking place.
The Malawi Bureau of Standards has since assured the public that it will continue to prioritize the use of accurate weighing instruments to protect consumers and uphold trust in commercial transactions. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
Remember, it's news time. Radio Luntha Television will be right back with more reports after the break.
Malawi Airlines is delighted to announce the launch of a new scheduled service connecting Lilongwe in Malawi and Entebbe in Uganda, effective 15th December 2025. This route will operate 4 times weekly on Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, offering seamless regional connectivity and exceptional service. Malawi Airlines, from the warm heart of Africa.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, know that it's news time here on Luntha Television, coming to you live from Bishop Nervi Media Center, and know that you can also catch us on our Facebook page at Luntha Television, on YouTube at Luntha TV, and on Luntha TV app. Now let's have a recap of our headlines. Pope Leo invites Christians to ponder on the end of life so as to discover the power of Christ's resurrection. Expert warns against political interference as government appoints 66 new boards. Malawi observes International Human Rights Day with cause for reflection and accountability from leaders. And in other news, report shows 111 journalists killed worldwide in 2025, with more than 500 still imprisoned. Moving forward, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization Joseph Mwanamveka has expressed optimism that mining companies will help stabilize Malawi's foreign exchange reserves. Speaking at the commissioning of the Portland cement plant in Balaka, Minister Mwanamveka highlighted that the company's importation of clinker and cement is expected to contribute positively to the country's forex supply. He emphasized that such investments are critical to fostering economic stability and growth. Andrew Nandolo has filed this report.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization Joseph Mwanamveka said Malawi requires about 950,000 metric tons of cement annually. He noted that the Portland cement Balaka plant alone is expected to produce around 800,000 metric tons, while other local companies will contribute to production, enabling Malawi to export cement and earn valuable foreign exchange.
So I think we'll promote competition. We will not allow for them to collude, for the three companies to be agreeing on the price to offer, because that's what will determine the price. So we will not allow the three companies that we have to collude on the prices. Secondly, we want to encourage competition between a healthy competition between the three companies. Because once we have that, it means we're going to control the price. Secondly, as I've said also, the other way of controlling is make sure there's adequate supply of cement. We want to have that. We have enough cement in Malawi because it's a strategic commodity. We can't build Malawi without cement. We need the cement. That's why we are saying we will not allow them to export the cement when we don't have enough. We only allow them to export the cement when we have enough in Malawi.
In her remarks, Liu Shun, Chinese ambassador to Malawi, highlighted that many Chinese investors are expected to join their counterparts in Malawi, reflecting their commitment to supporting the Malawi government's development initiative.
So for today's commissioning, I think it's very encouraging because I'm so glad to see and also proud of our Chinese companies coming to this country to make big and supportive investment. This is so far the only big investment from China, and also the biggest industrial projects so far here in Malawi.
Portland Cement is a member of Huashin Cement Limited, further strengthening Malawi's cement industry and investment ties with China. Reporting from Balaka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
In sports news, Mpira Modzimatu director Chimango Montari says preparations for the 2025 Ebenezer Investments end-of-year tournament have been finalized ahead of the two-day event scheduled for 12th to 13th December at Lilongwe Golf Club. Muntali made the announcement during the official unveiling of the tournament concept, participating teams, and the under-20 draw. According to the draw, Ascent Soccer Academy will take on Happy Hammers, while Mpira Motomato will face Silver Strikers Youth. The tournament is being staged in partnership with Ebenezer Investments. Montali says the stage is now set for an exciting competition. Montali had this to say.
In terms of the preparations, we can say we're there. We're almost ready. As you can see, the last missing piece was us to have a fixture, and we are closing now that piece by having this draw that we just had. And at the same time, we are also closing on some small logistical issues, finalizing the traveling teams list for Luntha and Zuzu. So far, we've had a good response from the two soccer schools, from Luntha and Zuzu, and we're looking forward to hosting them here. So we can say when it comes to preparations, we are right on top of it, and we appreciate whatever the team is doing on the ground. So we believe that we are a piece in a very long system, and for us to exist and enjoy what we're doing right now, a good example which is to talk about where we get our talent. You find out that some of the kids that are coming to Mpira Motomato, they come at 11, 12, 14 years. They are already part of the ecosystem, the football ecosystem, when it comes to the other teams that are being developing with them. So it's our way of demonstrating that we appreciate what other teams are also doing. At the same time, we appreciate the fact that
in international news, Tanzania marked its Independence Day in silence yesterday after the government directed that all celebrations be cancelled following fears of unrest after the disputed October 2025 elections. Several people were reportedly shot and killed in recent weeks, leading to widespread tension and cause for protests on December 9th. As a result, streets remained deserted and most residents stayed indoors. Officials say the decision was made to maintain public safety. Today, calm has returned in major cities, with people resuming work and businesses reopening, as our reporter Jessica Adian informs us.
Tanzania has marked its Independence Day in a muted way this year. For the first time in decades, the usual celebrations and parades were cancelled following a directive from the government. This comes amid heightened tensions in the country after the October 2025 general elections. Streets that are normally filled with several activities on December 9th were unusually quiet on Tuesday. The government had instructed that independence festivities be skipped, urging citizens to remain at home. The directive followed growing concerns about unrest across major cities.
Ningependa kuwajulisha kuwa hadi mchana huu wa tarehe 9 mwezi wa 12 2025 hali ya usalama wa nchi ni shwari. Vyombo vya ulinzi na usalama vinaendelea kuimarisha usalama nchini sambamba na kulinda maisha ya watu na mali zao. Aidha, jeshi la polisi lingependa kutoa wito kwa wananchi kuendelea kuzipuuza picha mjongeo na picha mnato zinazoendelea kusambazwa kwenye mitandao ya kijamii zikionyesha kwamba kuna maandamano yameanza maeneo mbalimbali. Taarifa hizo sio sahihi. Wanatumia picha mjongeo na picha mnato za matukio ya nyuma kama vile ya tarehe 29, tarehe 30 na tarehe 31 mwezi wa 10 2025.
In recent weeks, several people lost their lives in election-related clashes, sparking fear among the public. Activists had called for national demonstrations on Independence Day, protesting what they claim were irregularities in the election process. But with security tightened and residents fearing instability, most people stayed indoors. Businesses remained shut and transport services were limited as tensions remained high. Today, however, the situation appears to be easing. Offices and shops across several areas have been reopened and more people are back to work. For now, Tanzania moves cautiously beyond subdued independence anniversary, with many watching closely to see what the coming days will bring. For Luntha TV, I am Jessica Adiang.
Lastly, the International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, published its 2025 report on Tuesday, saying 111 journalists were killed while covering events around the world throughout the year. The document, which was published a day before Human Rights Day on 10th December, stated that the Middle East region was the most impacted with 69 deaths. Of that number, 51 deaths were recorded in Gaza. Tandem Zamara is reading an African News report.
According to the IFJ President Dominic Pradali, the year has seen a rise in both killings and imprisonment of journalists. She noted that governments across the world are failing to protect media workers or uphold fundamental principles of press freedom. Instead, she reported an increase in deliberate attacks on journalists, attempts to silence critical reporting, and efforts to control information on issues of public interest, actions that ran contrary to international law. 9 media workers were killed in Africa in 2025. Once again, Sudan was the epicenter of journalist killings in the region, accounting for 6 of the deaths. Since the conflict in Sudan began on 15th April 2023, journalists reporting on the civil war have been specifically targeted by the warring factions, particularly by the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Elsewhere, the IFJ also recorded 1 killing each in Mozambique, Somalia, and Zimbabwe. African journalists continue to be imprisoned on vague and fabricated charges. 27 journalists are still imprisoned in Africa. Eritrea, with 7, is the continent's biggest jailer of journalists, some of whom have been behind bars for over a decade. Many African countries continue to weaponize their national law by using it to silence journalists, according to IFJ. Around the world, there are more than 500 journalists locked up in jails, according to the IFJ report. The IFJ has recorded 10 killings in Europe this year, 8 in Ukraine, 1 in Russia, and 1 in Turkey. The IFJ deplores the killing of 15 journalists in the Asia-Pacific region, including 4 in India, 3 in Pakistan, 3 in the Philippines, 2 in Bangladesh, plus 2 in Afghanistan, and 1 in Nepal. The Asia-Pacific region continues to imprison the largest number of journalists for their work. 277 are currently behind bars. With 143 journalists imprisoned, China, including Hong Kong, remains the world's largest jail for media professionals. Myanmar follows this with 49 and Vietnam with 37.
The report marks the end of our news bulletin, but before we go, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Leo invites Christians to ponder on the end of life so as to discover the power of Christ's resurrection. Expert warns against political interference as government appoints 66 new boards. Malawi observes International Human Rights Day with cause for reflection and accountability from leaders. And in other news, report shows 111 journalists killed worldwide in 2025, with more than 500 still imprisoned. You have been with me, Jacqueline Saidi. Thank you very much for watching Luntha Television, and stay tuned for the programs to follow.